All right, so let's take a look at number 9 in your notes. And again, you have the words or the problems in front of you, so I'm not going to write it down again. It says, let the graph of G be a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3, reflection over the y-axis, followed by translation 2 units up, write a rule for G, and identify the vertex. Okay, so I will write this, f of x is equal to x squared. Okay, so we want to write a rule for G, right? All right, so notice there's multiple transformations here. The first thing that we have is a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3, okay? So horizontal shrink, let me call this my dummy function. If I was just doing a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3, the general rule would be P of x is equal to F times Bx, okay? So again, these are from your notes in the beginning of chapter 2. And what I need to do is figure out what the B value is, right? So this one says horizontal shrink, the wording, I'm actually going to write this down, by factor of 1/3. So the question is, what's my B value? Is my B value 1/3 or is it 3? Remember when you say the actual words, right? It's a horizontal shrink, horizontal stretch. This number right here equals 1/B, okay? So if 1/3 is equal to 1/B and I cross multiply, B actually equals 3. So that's tricky, right? Oftentimes students think, oh, the B value is 1/3. It's actually 3, all right? So this is my, again, P of x is my dummy function if I was just doing this, right? If I say, hey, just do a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3, I would be done, okay? So P of x is f of 3x. Now, I need a specific function, right? So what is f of 3x? F of 3x is equal to 3x, right? I take this guy and plug it in here. Quantity squared, which is 9x squared, okay? Can you just write it 3x squared? Do you have to simplify 9x? You don't have to. All right, so this is my P of x, which is 9x squared. But I also have to do a reflection over the y-axis, right? So again, another dummy function will say h of x, right, is equal to p of negative x, right? This is a reflection over the y-axis. And then I have to figure out what is p of negative x. P of negative x is 9 negative x quantity squared. It's still the original function, okay? So again, you want to split this up. Dummy function, okay? So the final answer, right, is write a rule for G. All right, so right now, the last thing I'm going to do is 2 units up, okay? So 2 units up, this is my final function. We'll say h of x, right, h of x plus 2, okay? So what was my h of x? My h of x was this, right? And this is my h of x, which is 9x squared. And I'm going to add 2. So this is my final answer. All right, and then it asks what's the vertex. It's basically the graph shifted up 2 units. So 0, 2 is the vertex for this graph. So if you're a little bit confused, what I did was these little squiggly lines right here, these are all dummy functions if I were just to do a single transformation, right? This h of x is the next transformation, which is reflection over the y. Right, this is horizontal shrink, right? And then, of course, this is 2 units up, okay? So I take each new function and then I transform it, and then I get my final answer. If you try to do that all at once, I guess you can, but I like to break it up separately. All right, so if that was a little bit confusing, maybe I'll do another one, like number 10, right? So let's take a look at number 10. Again, you have the problem in front of you. It says, let the graph of G be a translation 4 units to the left, 1 unit down, and then you do a reflection in the y-axis. And this time, the parent function is this. Okay, so this is often a little bit confusing because, in the past, your parent function is just x squared. This time, this is your parent function. This is the function we're going to transform. Okay, because there's multiple transformations here, right? Again, I'm going to do one at a time, okay? In fact, the translation, I'm just going to do both. So my dummy function, I'll call it h, right? We're going to translate it 4 to the left. We're going to take our function f of x. 4 to the left means x, not minus 4, right? 4x, we write x plus 4. This means 4 to the left. And then 1 unit down, so minus 1. So this just means 4 to the left, right? 1 unit down. If that was the only thing that we needed to do, we would be done, okay? But now I have to write the specific function, right? What do you mean specific function? I need to figure out what f of x plus 4 minus 1 is. So here's my function, right? Normally, if I just said, hey, find out f of 1, right? You would plug in 1 here, 2 times 1 squared plus 1. F of 3 is 2 times 3 squared plus 3, right? But instead of plugging in 1, 2, or 3, I'm plugging in this, x plus 4. So plug in x plus 4, right? So this is your f of x plus 4. And if I want f of x plus 4 minus 1, okay, I'm going to write it out again, right? It would be, you take this guy right here, substitute, right, plus x plus 4, right, and then minus 1. Okay, so this would be the correct answer if I just did a translation 4 units to the left and 1 unit down. This would be the specific function. Okay, you don't have to FOIL this. We're just going to leave it like this. All right, now on part 2, right, our final answer is going to be g. G of x, right, is just a reflection of the y-axis of f. So reflection of the y-axis of not f, but of h, of my previous function, would be h of negative x. And so all I need to do is figure out what h of negative x is. So wherever I see an x, I plug in a negative x. Wherever I see an x, I plug in a negative x. And I'm done. Okay, you don't need to simplify it. You could just leave it like this. All right, so hopefully these two examples help clarify, how do you write a rule? You just follow it step by step. And the way I did it was I broke it up separately. I mean, this is my final answer, right? My final answer has to be in terms of G. And again, if you guys get confused because you have some questions, always feel free to email me and set up a tutoring time during the tutoring window, and I can clarify for you.